Now in today's class, we'll bring across a very important point, and that is that whenever you look at a problem, you just try to solve the problem yourself. So JEE Advanced is coming nearby, so that is what we have based our class on, but it is applicable to any competitive exam. So here is a simple problem that I would use to demonstrate this to you today. See, the idea is that this is a very simple problem, which I assure you can be solved by just using the knowledge which is given in the NCERTs. That is, you have to use the slope formula of the line, you have to use this relation between the perpendicular lines, the slope relation, and you have to use the 2-point formula. Okay, this is a simple problem on the lines, that is it. And of course, you have to know what orthocenter is. That is the only knowledge which is required. Whereas if you look at this problem online without trying it to solve it yourself, if you try to solve it yourself, I assure you that you will be able to solve it, okay, very easily. But if you don't do that and you look at the solutions online, they'll tell you some special knowledge, some special trick, and each and every problem is like that only. They will use some special trick, and that will only make you lose your confidence. That is the first thing that will happen. Okay, so there are 3 disadvantages of looking the solution online. The first, you will lose confidence. The second is, as soon as you see another problem, you'll think that, oh, what is the special trick? What is the special trick being used there? And that is not the case. There is no special trick. Everything, the objective of the entire exam is to test your knowledge and how you apply that knowledge that you have gained from NCERTs in real world in these problems. Okay, in difficult problems, maybe slightly difficult problems. Okay, so but nothing beyond NCERTs is actually required. But that is the disadvantage. As soon as you look at solutions online, you'll feel that each and every problem uses a trick, which is not the case. Each and every problem uses the same basic principles. That is it. And the principles, they come from the NCERTs. So that is the second thing. The third thing is that if you don't solve problem, you will not get confidence. If you don't get confidence, then you will not be able to solve the real exam problems, no matter how many tricks you have learned. Okay. So with that, let me just demonstrate how we can solve this problem, and you can look this problem up on the internet. I challenge you that maybe someone, I really cannot challenge, but most of the solutions, I assure you, you will find will use one trick or another. They will not try to even go by the basic solution, by the basic principles, even though the answer using the solution using the basic principles is actually turns out to be simpler, and that is very unfortunate. Okay, but we don't have to worry about that, because from now on, starting with this problem, so bring a pen and paper and solve this problem yourself. Work with me at least in trying to come up with a solution. Point out my mistakes. Okay, that is what I urge you. Just find out the mistakes I am doing. Okay, what I am doing wrong. Try to do it faster than me, if you will. Okay, use whatever means, whatever challenge you want is necessary. But just please solve these problems yourself. Work with me. Okay, so this is the problem. The problem is saying, it's very simple problem actually. It's saying that these are the 2 lines, and these are the 2 lines of the triangle. The third line we have not been given, and that is where the actual thing is, the actual trick is in some sense. Now this point we can quickly find out the y is actually 0, and if we substitute y is 0 in this line, this x comes out to be -1. So that is one of the points. Now what we have been told is that there is an orthocenter of this triangle. Okay, like every triangle, this has an orthocenter as well, which is the point where all the altitudes of the triangle actually meet. Okay, so this is our orthocenter. This is orthocenter. We'll call it O. Okay, the convention is to call it H, but let's just call it O, because this is the diagram that a typical student, without looking at any kind of solutions online, would actually draw. Okay, and this is what I'm trying to do here. I'm just being a typical student. Although I have solved this problem, I know the triangle does not look like this. Okay, don't beat me up on that. But I'm trying to solve it like any other student would. So if you would solve it using this method, actually you will not be a loser. You will actually come out as a winner, because this is a simpler method, I'm telling you. So now we need to find the equation of this third line. If we find the equation of this third line, we are gold, because then we can find these 3 vertices, and the circle would actually go through all of these 3 vertices of the triangle, and we are done. Okay, that is the circle. Now what we need to do is in order to find this equation of this line, let us just first find the equation of this altitude. Okay, if we can find the equation of this altitude, we know the slope of this line would be perpendicular to the slope of the altitude, because the two are at 90 degrees. Okay, so we can actually go from there. So what about the slope of this altitude? What would be its slope? The slope m would be equal to y2 minus y1. So I am calling this point 2 and this point as 1. So y2 minus y1, 1 minus 0, which is 1, divided by x2 minus x1, so which becomes just 1 plus 1, 2. So that is the slope. Now what about the slope of this line? Now the slope of this line, y is equal to mx plus c, that is the equation we will use, will be the negative of the reciprocal, which means that it will be minus 2x plus c. Okay. So provided you have done enough practice, these things should come naturally. Now the problem actually you will observe is just solving itself. What about the intersection of these 2 points? Now this is a parameter c, you can say. So this is a parametric equation, which means that it does not represent just one line, it represents several lines, all going like this. Okay, so all like this, and all of these lines intersect this y equal to 0 at different points. So we are just focusing on one point, okay, here, but note that it is not just one point, it is several points. So this is of course 0, y is equal to 0, and as soon as I plug y equal to 0 here, what do I get? Minus 2x plus c will be equal to y 0, so 0, which means that x will be equal to c by 2. Nothing complicated, very simple. Okay, now we can find, if we can find the value of this c, we are gold. We have actually solved this problem. We can get the 3 vertices, we know the 3 points through which the circle passes, so we can find out the equation of the circle. To find this c, we will again use the same trick that we used here, basic principles, nothing difficult. We know that x plus 1 is perpendicular to this altitude. It has to be, that is by definition. Okay, so what about the slope of this altitude? The slope of this altitude we will write here. Okay, the slope of this altitude will be, this is again m, the slope is y2 minus y1. So we will call this point 1 now. Previously we took this as 1. So this is 1 minus 0, which is 1, divided by 1 minus c by 2. Now this 1 upon 1 minus c by 2 has to be the negative reciprocal of this slope. Now what is the slope of this line? We can quickly find out. This is again, we write it as standard method in this point slope form, which is y is equal to mx plus c, which is minus x minus 1. So that is the equation of this line. Now the slope of this is actually equal to minus 1. So this just becomes equal to 1, because it is the negative of the reciprocal. So because those two are perpendicular. So now from this you can quickly understand that 1 should be equal to 1 minus c by 2. 1 and 1 will cancel, which of course means that c is equal to 0. C has to be 0. Now our equation of the line came out to be very simple. So this tells us that this problem was designed to be solved this way. No matter what other people are telling you, no matter what other institutes actually they are writing, what other solutions you are finding. Okay. So the idea is that this point becomes the origin, which is 0, 0. Now we can also find out this point, which is very simple. So y is from here we can say that y is equal to minus 2x. So these are the two equations we need to solve. X plus y plus 1 is equal to 0 and y is equal to minus 2x. So the first thing we do is that we put y is equal to minus 2x here. So this becomes x minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. This becomes x will become equal to 1. Okay, so this comes out to be x as 1. Now what about y? Y will come out to be minus 2. Okay, so if you look at the triangle, you would realize that yes, the triangle that I have drawn is not correct, but it serves of the purpose well. Now we have the equation of the 3 vertices, the 3 points through which the circle passes. Now again we'll go back to the basic principle. What is the equation of the circle? The general form is actually equal to x square plus y square plus ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Now since the circle passes through origin, this C has to be equal to 0. You can plug in the value 0, 0, and that way you can also find out the value of C as 0. X and Y plug in 0, 0, everything will become 0, so C has to be equal to 0. So that is one way to find out, or you can straight away write it like this only, okay, that both things are correct. Now, what we have is, we'll plug in the equation of this point. This is another point through which the circle passes. So this will be 1 plus 0. This will be minus A plus by is again 0 will be equal to 0. Now this tells me that A comes out to be equal to 1. Okay, so that is the other thing that we get now. Now A we have found out the value. What about B? So let us just plug in this formula. Okay. So this formula will plug in now. This becomes 1 plus, this point will plug in into this equation, 1 plus 4, and then plus A is 1, our X is 1, so this comes out to be 1, plus BY, which is B is minus 2, so into, Y is minus 2, so this is minus 2, and B is of course B, which is equal to 0. Now this is 4 plus 1 plus 1, this is 6, is equal to 2B, which implies that B is equal to 3. So our equation for the circle finally, if we substitute everything, that comes out to be x square plus y square plus x plus 3y is equal to 0. Okay, and everything, look, everything fits so nicely. How few steps are actually involved. Okay, and those who have solved this problem with me would realize and can go back and look at the online solutions online, and they would probably laugh as to why we are using this complicated method when such simpler methods are actually available. And now you have the confidence that using the tools that you have, you will be able to solve each and every problem of JEE Advanced. Now in the next class, in the subsequent class, I will tell you some of the theorems which can be used alternatively to solve this problem, give the alternate solutions. And you will at the same time learn those theorems, and then we will use this problem again as an example. So do subscribe to our this channel if you are interested in more such simple solutions to complicated problems. Thank you.